Good evening, everyone. Please allow me to establish protocol for this evening. Guest speaker, Dr. Todd Jenkins, District Governor Leslie Ramdhanny, past District Governor Sonia Aline, past District Governors, District Governor-elect Brian Glasgow, District Governor nominee Debbie Roopchand, Assistant Governors, District Officers, Club Presidents, District Rotary representatives, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, and guests. Welcome to our first ever District Interact Conference. My name is Anselm, and I am the member of the Interact Club of St. Mary's College located in St. Lucia. Today marks the official culmination of the first Interact Conference in District 7030. Myself and my fellow Interactors are looking forward to hosting you on this remarkable journey. And right now, I'd like to invite the chairperson responsible for this event, Conference Chair Konrad.
Thank you, Interact Anselm. Rotary family, good evening, and a special welcome to all our Interactors. We've eventually arrived at the start of the first Rotary District 7030 Interact Conference 2022. Despite repeated challenges and date changes caused by a pandemic, more recently a tropical storm, and resulting in delays in examination schedules throughout our Caribbean islands, we're finally here. With this new date, we even have a new district governor who is with us tonight. Thank you, DG Lisle, for being here. After hundreds of hours of work over the last Rotary year by the District Interact Committee, led by District Interact Chair Sorraya, I'm excited and looking forward to the next 2 evenings. These hours in the conference calls and Zoom meetings, together with an endless number of individual telephone conversations throughout the year, have one truly phenomenal effect. They have brought Interact in District 7030 and especially Interactors and the Rotarians closer together. Who would have thought I would thank Zoom for that? Interactors from across the district have stepped up to the crease and are volunteering and leading this conference. A conference by Interactors for Interactors. And you will see this tonight and tomorrow evening, truly Interactors for Interactors. This Saturday and tomorrow Sunday will be about celebrating Interact and some of the people behind the scenes. I applaud you for having registered. More importantly, thank you for being here tonight. Again, it is not too late, of course, to shoot off a WhatsApp message to a friend or fellow Interactor to remind them to join. Some exceptional presenters from the Caribbean, the US, and Canada have kindly agreed to spend time with us. And I'm convinced everybody will enjoy them, and as so often is the case, learn one or the other things about Rotary, about Interact, and of course about ourselves. And maybe just a little bit about the power of Rotary and Rotary friendships. As Paul Harris once said, perhaps dreaming is not a bad thing if one dreams good dreams and makes them come true. So without further ado, I welcome you to the Rotary District 7030 Interact Conference and Awards 2022. Welcome to all. Back over to our presenter, Interactor Anselm.
Thank you, Conference Chair Konrad. And now I would like to introduce Interactor Jada from Interact Queen's College, Guyana for the invocation.
Good evening, fellow Interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. Will you please gather yourself? Let us reflect silently together, each of us, according to our individual beliefs. Let us offer thanks for our many blessings and extend blessings to one another. Let us be a source of hope for those in need and contentment for those who are lonely. Let us give gratitude for our opportunity to serve Rotary. Let the feelings of love, kindness, and a well-directed yet gentle spirit always be reflected in our actions. So, as we gather here today as interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary, we trust that we're ever mindful of opportunities to render service to our fellow citizens as well as our communities. Always remember life's enduring values, our Rotary values, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which our future generations can build. Let us continue to strive to make our world a better world, and may you all continue to be bountifully blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jada. And now we'll play a video from the Interact St. Benedict's College playing the Rotary Anthem while we have our flag ceremony.
The four-way test is one of Rotary's guiding principles and by extension ours as well.
Thank you for that. Now we call on the Interact Shiva boys of the Hindu College for the four-way test.
Since it was developed in 1932 by Herbert J. Taylor, the test has remained. The four-way test is one of Rotary's guiding principles and by extension ours as well. Since it was developed in 1932 by Herbert J. Taylor, the test has remained relevant to all of us. The four questions asked are simple but profound. They're not based on culture or religion, but transcends generational and national borders. They are concerned with fairness, empathy, trust, and accountability. An ethical guide for all of us to use for our personal and professional relationships. Please join us in reciting our four-way test.
Hi, this is Rotarian Ryan.
of the things we think, say, or do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, Interact Shiva boys. Now, I introduce the interactor, Renessa, from Interact Napima Girls School.
Good evening, fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. I am absolutely pleased and honored to introduce our district Interact Chair, Sorraya Warner-Gustave, who is serving in the capacity as Interact Chair now for a second Rotary year. DIC Sorraya, who is also a past club president, began her Rotary journey in March 2010 with the Rotary Club of St. Lucia. At the district level, she has been honored to serve as district secretary to past district governor Lisle during the Rotary year 2020 to 2021. District Interact Chair Sorraya is a Paul Harris Fellow and is passionate about Interact. She is keenly focused on the upskilling of youth in service and leadership, and by extension, shaping leaders for the future. Professionally, District Interact Chair Sorraya is a corporate banking professional and holds postgraduate certification in business administration from the University of Lancaster in the United Kingdom. Fellow attendees, let us give our District Interact Chair Sorraya a warm welcome to the podium to deliver her remarks on this auspicious opening of our inaugural Interact conference.
Yeah, I'm getting. Good evening, everyone. Can you just bear with us for a few seconds? Welcome to our inaugural 2022. Welcome to our inaugural 2022 District 7030 Interact Conference. What an awesome start. Interactors from 4 Interact clubs have started us off beautifully. The 7030 District Interact Committee is excited by this opportunity to showcase Interact, which comprises 73 clubs across 15 territories. We are so proud of their contributions and effort during the 2022 Rotary year to increase the impact of Rotary in spite of the COVID-19 challenges. And this has, in fact, been our motivation and inspiration. We have in other forums shared that the wide range of activities by Interact stretch typically across Rotary's areas of focus, so that in their way, they have been involved in promoting peace, supporting education and literacy, protecting the environment, raising awareness to disease and polio, supporting our district and RI's goals, and generally serving our communities in areas where it's most needed. The theme of this year's conference, Serving to Change Lives, Starting with Me, essentially picks up the 2022 Rotary theme, and deliberately so, as we wanted to place some emphasis on the importance of all aspects of service within Interact, and as well on the individual who must then get ready and prepare to serve, to give service at the club level, and at times, as in this instance, the district level. Service is integral to what we do, but the beauty of Rotary, and by extension Interact, is that there are many, many ways to serve and change lives. To those of you who attended our pre-conference event, you would have heard the many references to this being an Interact-led event, with as many interactors as possible involved in the production. While they may not have recognized this as yet, they are effectively making a difference right here, right now, through their service here at these events, as their lives are changing for the better. And as a result, they are extending this positive impact to our entire Interact community. An absolutely fantastic way to close out Interact's service work plan for the last Rotary year. So tonight and tomorrow night, it's all about our interactors, our young leaders, as you take center stage to lead this conference. On behalf of the District Interact Committee, I say thank you to you, Interact, and to all the attendees here this evening. And I now hand over to the conference presenter to invite the next speaker to our virtual podium. Thank you.
Thank you, District Interact Chair Sorraya. We now call on Interactor Omilian from Interact St. Joseph's High School. Unfortunately, our past presenter is not available this evening. I would now like to introduce our District Governor, Lisle Ramdhanny. Ramdhanny, a Rotary Club Grenada East Charter member established in October 1977. DG Leslie served in all of the board portfolios in the club and is a five-term past assistant governor for the Rotary clubs in Grenada. Our district governor is a Paul Harris Fellow +5 and a member of the Paul Harris Society. At the district level, DG served as a chair in several capacities, including Rotary founder, fundraiser committee, and international service. DG Leslie obtained a BSc Hons Agricultural Science from the University of the West Indies and is the chairman of the family-owned hardware company, LL Ramdhanny & Co. Limited. He has been in business for over 47 years now. He has served as a director on many national boards, including the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the Grenada Solid Waste Management Company, and the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited. DG Leslie grew up on a family-owned biodiverse farm and is passionate about the environment and sustainability. Additionally, he's enthusiastic about outdoor activities, including sport fishing, walking, and farming. Please join me in welcoming the District 7030 Governor, Lisle Ramdhanny, to the virtual podium.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your introduction. Good evening, my fellow district leaders. Good evening, interactors and other participants. District Interactor Sorraya, I would just like to make one little amendment to your theme. And I would like to add this: imagine how we can serve to change lives, starting with me. So I hope you don't mind that slight amendment. but I did feel that we must imagine how we can do these things. Welcome to day one of your Interact District Conference. Yesterday, sorry, not yesterday, but Thursday, tone was set on your pre-conference opening day when your public image chair spoke on rebranding. Today, your conference begins. And indeed, it is historic in that it is the first Interact District Conference that we're having in our district. It's also historic. And we are being our leader for the first time in Rotary, the female president, Jennifer Jones. So indeed, there's a lot of history in what is happening here now. But an Interact District Conference is an opportunity to bring together interactors from across the district to provide leadership training and deepen your commitment to service. And the great thing about this Interact conference, as District Interact Chair noted, is that the interactors are intimately involved in organizing this conference, of course, under her and her committee's guidance. So I really commend you for this, because what we have seen so far has been excellent. I highly commend you interactors for what you're doing. But it also gives you the opportunity to form new friendships, be it virtually, establishing connections with clubs in other countries to learn new cultures and promote international understanding. It gives you an opportunity to hear qualified speakers presenting on topics to help you build your self-confidence, build your leadership skills. It gives you ideas on service projects, and of course, how you develop partnerships within your communities. So indeed, an Interact conference does give you the opportunity from what is being presented to enable you to better address your community needs. It also enables you to expand your reach by building collaborative partnerships between schools and other organizations. An Interact conference is an event that you, as we do in Rotary, can have lots of fun. So I do encourage you to, as the conference proceeds, to have fun among yourselves. Of course, that's virtual fun. In closing, I ask you to imagine how you can make your communities and the world a better place by taking action to improve lives. Please enjoy your conference, absorb all of the important information that is being disseminated, and do have an interactive evening. Thank you.
Fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of the Rotary. It is a distinct honor for me as member of the Grenada Interact Club of Presentation Brothers College to deliver the vote of thanks this evening to our District Governor, Lisle Ramdhanny, on behalf of our Interact community. District Governor Lisle, we would like to express our gratitude for your rich and stimulating presentation here this evening at our inaugural Interact conference. We appreciate your vision for Interact, which has been well articulated, and we can absolutely assure you of our own commitment to the development and growth of Interact in the district. As our new district governor, we look forward to meeting with you during this Rotary year to further discuss your vision for Interact within District 7030 and to share our plans for our respective Interact clubs. We thank you again for being here with us this evening to open our 2022 and very first Interact conference.
Thanks, Tariq. We now call on Interactor Alexi from Interact SJC San Fernando. Good evening, fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. I feel absolutely privileged to introduce our esteemed District Governor nominee, Debbie Roopchand, currently Chair of the District Peace Fellowships and District Peacebuilding Program, and a 3-term past Assistant Governor for the South Cluster of Rotary Clubs in Trinidad and Tobago. Our District Governor nominee, Debbie, is a member of the Rotary Club of San Fernando South, a Paul Harris Fellow +8, and a member of the Paul Harris Society. District Governor nominee Debbie will be presenting on peace building under the theme Interactors for Peace, and will also showcase the impact of YPA on District 7030. As the Peace Committee Chair, District Governor nominee Debbie has been highly focused on implementing several peace initiatives into our district. District Governor nominee Debbie is passionate about promoting peace and is known for wearing a peace pin as part of her work attire. Indeed, as a humanitarian organization, peace is the foundation of our mission, and we believe that positive peace can have a huge global effect if we all work towards a common goal, creating peace within all of our communities. DGN Debbie is an attorney at law and is in private practice at the law firm of Ernest H. Coilas and Company. District Governor Debbie's hobbies are traveling, meeting new people, learning about different cultures, and listening to music. Please join me in welcoming District 7030 Governor nominee Debbie Roopchand to the virtual podium. Take it away, DGN Debbie.
Thank you so much, Alexi, for that wonderful introduction. Can I start by saying that I want to be an interactor? You guys are inspiring, and it's so wonderful to see so many interactors on the call this evening. The protocols having been set, this evening, as Alexi mentioned, I will be talking about Youth and Peace in Action, which was one of the biggest peace building initiatives to take place in zones 33 and 34 last year, and in which our interactors participated. And you may ask yourself, what is YPA? In a nutshell, it was the largest local peace building initiative in the history of Rotary International. It was also the largest youth peace education program that took place in the last Rotary year in the USA and Caribbean, and not just in Rotary. And thirdly, it is a multifaceted peace education and training program to equip students to understand drivers of peace and conflict in an online program and to put those skills to work on peace projects. And this program took place from its launch in September 2021 to its conclusion in May 2022. And students who participated in the program had the opportunity to engage at the first instance in My Peace Builder Foundations, which was an educational and interactive experience on peace building. And secondly, in doing leading peace project teams, which was geared towards equipping participants to create and execute peace projects in their community. I'm proud to see that 820 students across 28 Interact clubs in our district enrolled in My Peace Builder Foundations course, and 327 students of those students successfully completed the course and received Peace Builder certification from New Gen Peace Builders. 5 of these Interact clubs, and I just want to shout them out: Astra Boys, International School of Aruba, Triple T, Lakshmi Girls Hindu School, and Naprima Girls High School, had more than 75% of their students who enrolled in the course receive certification. And tonight, you would see joining me shortly our 2 panelists. One of the panelists, Renessa Ramsing, is from Naprima Girls High School, and you would hear about her YPA experience. As to leading peace project teams, we had 41 students from 9 schools in our district who went ahead to attend this part of the program, and 14 of those students received certification. There was a team of 2 students from Presentation College and San Fernando Central Secondary who teamed up to participate in that program. And tonight, I am pleased to say we have Ashish Mathura, who is from Presentation College, and he will share about the leading Peace Builder projects, part of the program. I want to thank, before we get into the panel discussion, our immediate past district governor, Mrs. Sonia Lane, for her support of the YPA initiative and for championing and encouraging the promotion of peace in our youth. At the district level, we could not have had the successful participation that we did in YPA without the tireless efforts of District Interact Chair Sorraya Warner-Gustave. Sorraya, I thank you for attending all the meetings and for motivating the Interact clubs to participate in this project. It was a joy working with you on YPA, and I'm so pleased and proud to see that you have put together the first Interact conference in District 7030 tonight. This is a milestone for our district. And to District Governor Lisle Ramdhanny, our current governor, who I know is also a champion of peace. I know, DG Lisle, that you would continue to encourage us to engage our youth during your term as governor in peace building. So at this stage, I want to invite our panelists to introduce themselves. And I would start with Renessa Ramsing. Renessa, could you unmute and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, sure. Good night, everyone. My name is Renessa Ramsing, and I am the president of the Napper McGill's High School Interact Club, and I have been an interactor for 2 years.
Thank you so much, Renessa. And Ashish, can you unmute and introduce yourself too?
Sure. Pleasant good evening to everyone. My name is Ashish Mathura. I am currently attending Presentation College San Fernando in Trinidad. I am a member of my school's Interact Club, and I've been an interactor for about a year.
Thank you so much, Ashish. So I'm going to go straight into the panel discussion, and my first question I'm directing to Renessa. Renessa, can you tell us what motivated you to participate in the YPA initiative?
Well, I have always been eager to try something new, so when the opportunity of becoming a certified youth peace builder presented itself, of course, I immediately signed up. In today's society, there is definitely an increased need for peace and love, so I believe that this course was ideal, as it would nurture and teach the youths on peace building and peacekeeping in order to enact positive change in society. You know, there is an infamous saying, I'm sure most of you all know, by Nelson Mandela, which says, "The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow." And as such, I saw this course as revolutionary, as it was the first of its kind that was offered to youths such as myself in my country and my region. It showed us that peace starts with oneself. No matter how small the action, we as youths have the ability to unite and create a monumental change. It definitely would empower and teach students on all aspects of peace and how to resolve conflict. From my perspective, the course definitely incited our youthful and budding minds. It kind of restructured our perspective on life and provided us with a purpose. And for that, I was ecstatic to be a part of this distinguished course.
Thank you for that, Vanessa. And I agree with Nelson Mandela. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Vanessa, your school had 98% completion in the YPA course. That's quite a high percentage of students who actually completed the My Peace Builder Foundations. Do you want to share with us how the students approached completing the coursework?
Sure. In my school, it was a bit difficult for everyone to meet at a specific time each week in order to collectively work on the course because, you know, of everyone's viewing schedules with school and all other preoccupancies and stuff. So we worked individually to complete it. And in this, we were able to work at our own pace and adequately internalize the content provided. However, in some instances, such as my own, my friends who were also involved in the YPA course would work together. We would typically read and review the whole module and then have a small, meaningful discussion on the content, which allowed us to share our different perspectives to further enhance our knowledge.
Would you say YPA brought you guys closer together in any way?
Most definitely, because we were able to engage in intellectual conversations and see a different side of our friends, which would not have been possible through like our regular informal conversations.
What aspect of YPA did you enjoy the most?
Oh, this is a hard one because the course was just so well put together and organized that it is difficult to just choose one aspect that I enjoyed. But if I had to choose one, I believe that the Padlet would be my favorite. The Padlets at the end of each section provided an opportunity for the students to express their views on certain topics. It stimulated the students to delve into deep, comprehensive thoughts about critical issues and it served as an avenue to ensure that students thoroughly analyze the contents. Not only did it stimulate the students' fresh and young minds, but it also allowed them to view other students' answers. In this way, it did not limit them to their own perspectives. However, it further enhanced their understanding on the issues, on issues as others may approach the question from a different stance. Reading through everyone else's point of view was enlightening to me, and it provided not only me, I'm sure everyone else, with a sense of hope for the future, as the youth seems very committed and driven to make an impactful difference in our world. For these reasons, the Padlets definitely had to be my favorite part.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And while the discussion is going on, I invite you to put any questions you may have in the chat box, which we'll be happy to answer at the end of the session. I want to jump across to Ashish. Ashish, Presentation College, your club had 40 students enroll in YPA. Can you tell us about your YPA participation? What was the biggest takeaway from YPA for you?
Yes, well, over the past year, I have thoroughly enjoyed engaging in each of the modules of the My Peacebuilder Foundations, as I had the opportunity of grasping several new and interesting concepts related to peace studies. As such, one of my biggest takeaways included learning that there are actually two different types of peace, that is, negative peace and positive peace, and how we, as peace builders, need to not only react to the negative, but also develop and implement positive systems, procedures, and attitudes that allow for the creation and sustenance of peaceful communities, and by extension, a more peaceful world. So to illustrate this point, for example, what I believe is that criminals must not merely be incarcerated, they must also participate in remedial schemes that allow for them to return into society or to be reintegrated into society as valuable contributors to the economy once again. And in this manner, I have also realized that I can even promote my own personal peace as well.
Excellent. So Ashish, YPA was done in two parts, and your school actually completed part 2, leading peace project teams. And I know that you all would have done what is considered to be one of the most comprehensive community assessments ever undertaken by a project team in part 2 of the YPA. Can you tell us a little bit about that particular project that you all presented for part 2?
Yes, certainly. Well, in this very interesting and innovative project, 6th form students of Presentation College San Fernando, in collaboration with a student from San Fernando Central Secondary School, interviewed socially displaced persons to find out if they would be interested in gaining and learning certain skills and knowledge, which can then be utilized to obtain a job, earn a salary, and ultimately become reintegrated into society. These persons were thus set to be engaged in a work-study program with a local business. However, some problems and complications arose during the course of this project. For instance, although these persons initially expressed their keen interest and desire to participate in this program, they ultimately chose not to do so due to their own personal mindsets. Companies were also quite hesitant to engage in such a scheme as a result of natural stigmas, and unfortunately, this project could not completely come to fruition due to these quandaries, as well as the onset of examinations. However, on a positive note, I firmly believe that this project can definitely be implemented elsewhere with the right businesses and the right participants and be a major success.
I really hope that you all do get the opportunity to implement it, because I think that it is a good project, and it's unfortunate that the group that you all would have surveyed did not have the interest in pursuing it. Can you share with us, how did participating in the Leading Peace Project Teams Part 2 assist you in creating this project?
Yes, well, by participating in Leading Peace Project Teams, the Part 2, this provided the group with much needed motivation and inspiration to proceed with their projects. And it also offered and equipped them with invaluable tools such as Invaluable yet simple tools such as the use of brainstorming and concept maps, which certainly aided in the creation of this project.
Thank you for that, Ashish. I want to jump back over to Renessa. Renessa, with 42 trained peace builders, all interactors from your school, did YPA training lead your club to engage in any peace projects or initiatives that you would like to share with us at this stage?
Yeah. Well, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it was difficult for us to organize a physical peace project. However, this did not stop us. We were still committed to contributing to our society in one way or the other with the newfound knowledge we had gained from the YPA course. And being a Presbyterian school, we were inspired by our peace role model, Reverend Joy Evelyn Abdul Mohan, and she describes the traditional sense of peace as the absence of war and conflict. However, her point of view with respect to peace is a more spiritual one, which focuses on harmony, wholeness, and reconciliation. We believe that peace of mind and soul is only made possible through the will of God. And if young people understand how special they are to God, then there would be an absence of bullying and conflict. The greatest longing of humanity is peace. As such, the Interact Club of Naparima Girls High School took the initiative to create a spiritual guide to peacemaking and peacekeeping using the fruits of the Spirit. As such, we yearn to encourage people to be magnets of peace, as this is paramount to achieving harmony and preparing a way for the country and the world to heal. As such, we circulated this peace guide throughout our school as well as other schools in our country in order to promote our message to everyone, which is, it is crucial to develop a peacemaking attitude in young people by using the fruits of the Spirit, as young people are the leaders of today, not just tomorrow. And thus, we believe that we should not find peace in heaven, we should not find peace in heaven, but rather create it here on earth.
Thank you for that, Renessa. Do you mention the spiritual guide that you shared with other schools? Is it something that you are able to share with our interactors, perhaps on the chat box?
Yes, I can most definitely share it.
Yeah, I think it would be nice so they could see the project and benefit from the guide as well, because it sounds like a really nice initiative.
Mm-hmm.
I want to move across to Ashish. Ashish, are there any peace projects or activities coming out of YPA that your Interact Club and school is looking at engaging in?
Yes, so my Interact Club actually is planning to engage in 2 peace initiatives in the near future. Firstly, during the previous school term actually, the members of the Interact Club of Presentation College San Fernando, and more broadly the entire student population, were planning to create and capture skits, speeches, and various other performances on video to be posted on social media as a competition of sorts. Of course, this competition was established for the purpose of spreading awareness on peace in schools and the community and how to promote this peace. This contest, unfortunately, could not take place due to the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the club and the college intends to recommence this competition in the following school term. And secondly, the Palm East Historical Society has contacted our school's Interact Club to gain assistance in its latest project. This project, which takes place in the local park in the Palm East area in San Fernando, involves the planting of new species of trees in the park, the removal of any parasites from the plants and any unwanted organisms negatively impacting the plants, and the overall preservation of the flora. We are also currently implementing exciting new mapping technology, such as a Geographic Information Systems database, given by the name ArcGIS, to map the exact location of trees and to have a proper management and maintenance system of all the trees in the entire park. We are the first group to kickstart this initiative, which serves to promote ecological, social, and personal peace in the community. And of course, this project will most definitely aid in the worldwide efforts against global warming. 20 students participated in this project, and thus far, we have mapped 30 trees.
Thank you so much for that, Ashish. And I saw our district governor clapping when you spoke about the mapping of the trees. And DG Leslie, we know that you are very passionate about the environment. The environment for all our interactors is the most recent area of focus to be added to Rotary's areas of focus, making it 7 areas of focus. And DG Leslie's passion with respect to the environment. I hope that you all do projects along that lines this year. And maybe you can invite other Interact clubs to be part of that project at Palmy's, because we have quite a few Interact clubs in South Trinidad. So that is an excellent initiative. It's an environmental initiative that would lead to peace as a result of the better environment. I also love the idea of the skit, and with the virtual environment, hopefully, again, that's an initiative where we could have a wider participation across the district with other schools. At this point in time, I want to invite Ashish, perhaps you go first, and any closing remarks that you'd want to share with our audience as to YPA or anything as an interactor.
Yes, so firstly, I would like to thank everyone for paying attention to our presentation, and we are all profoundly honored to be given the opportunity to be here as presenters in this conference today. I myself have been inspired with all of these speeches leading up to this presentation today. And secondly, I want to say that in my opinion, what the YPA course is an excellent initiative to be a part of, since you will be equipped with invaluable peace-building skills and gain certain qualities that are not only important for spreading and promoting love, peace, and happiness in society, but these things are also important in life itself. This course has, as a result, this course has definitely improved my own life, and hence I strongly urge not just the youths who are the next generation, but also persons of all ages to engage in this course, as there are several benefits to be accrued, which will ultimately have positive effects on the world at large. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashish. And Vanessa, closing comments to our audience.
I want to thank everyone for the ability to express our views on our YPA experience. And I 100% agree with Ashish. I think this YPA course was one of a kind, and it is extremely beneficial to the youths in our society. And if you have not enrolled in the YPA course and become a certified youth peace builder, I strongly urge everyone who has not participated in it as yet to enroll in it. I'm sure you won't regret it. And for the ones that have become a certified youth peace builder, I encourage everybody to utilize the skills you have learned from this course and make a insightful change in the world and be the change that you want to see and make a positive difference.
Thank you so much to both my panelists. I know that at the end of the day, we have 300 plus students who are certified interactors and peace builders in District 7030. So I'm really looking forward to seeing your skills in practice. The program would have wrapped up in May, so hopefully during this Rotary year, we would be seeing a lot of peace initiatives coming out across the district. I'm going to take a peep at the chat box to see if we have any questions. Okay, I see Dina. I know peace building is focused on 14 to 24-year-old. Is there any plans to introduce a peace initiative targeting the younger ones, if not in the YPA, at least in the district? So Dina, we don't actually have a particular program in mind for the younger persons in the district, but what has been gaining popularity in the district for students under 14 is early act clubs. And the early act clubs, when they are formed, they function similar to the Interact clubs, Rotary clubs, and that they start focusing on the different areas of focus. So I would say that we would encourage clubs to consider having Interact clubs so that you can start doing Rotary work very early on with the younger persons, and that work should involve peace building as well. And I don't know if DG Leslie wants to chime in and perhaps add anything to what I've said there. DG Leslie?
Thanks, DG and Debbie. No, I want to commend these two young persons on a very impressive performance, honestly. I mean, when I hear these young people speak, it really moves me emotionally, you know, and you can see the intent in the delivery, you know, how serious and how committed they are. And it's so impressive. I mean, all of this augurs well for Rotary in the long run. So I look forward to Interactors transitioning from Interact to Rotaract and finally into Rotary. That peace initiative, as Debbie says, is highly renowned initiative that's going on, and I do encourage you to keep involved and strengthen it in the district as much as possible. Thank you.
And thank you for that, DG Leslie. And I see we have another question. DGN Debbie, will you be having another YPA course for the interactors who missed the opportunity this time? So NewGen has not spoken about scheduling a new segment of YPA. What they have spoken about is building on having done YPA with us, parts 1 and 2 in District 7030. So at the moment, we do not have my Peace Builder Foundations in mind for District 7030. It is not, if there is a demand for it, I mean, we did have 830 students enroll last year. If there is a demand for it, I can assure you that we would be most happy to reach out and engage NewGen to see what we can do in relation to bring in those 2 modules back to 7030 in this Rotary year. Are there any other questions? Okay, so that means we did well. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much to Ashish and Vanessa for accepting being on my panel at what was quite short notice. I won't tell you guys quite when we started preparing for it, but really and truly, they are really wonderful interactors, and it's a pleasure working with you all. It's a pleasure being part of the Interact conference. I have to leave. I can't stay on for the rest of the session, but Sorraya and Team Interact, congratulations again, and everyone enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, District Governor nominee Debbie and interactors Ashish and Ranel. I truly enjoyed this discussion since I am also a certified NewGen Peace Builder, along with 21 students from my school, St. Joseph's Convent, St. Lucia. At this point, I would like to invite Interactor Anura from Interact Asda Girls to come to the screen for the official vote of thanks.
I am truly honored to have been given the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks to District Governor nominee and Peace Chair Debbie Roopchand on behalf of the District 7030 Interact. We thank you for this evening's dynamic presentation on interactors and peace, which highlighted our YPA successes. As the largest youth peace building initiative in the USA and the Caribbean, our Interact community cannot thank you enough for introducing this opportunity to us during this last Rotary year. It is as a result of this introduction that we can boast of our over 800 interactors being exposed to the concepts of peace building, as well as 327 of us being recognized and certified as NewGen Peace Builders. What an awesome achievement for Interact under your guidance. We thank you for this. We thank you for giving your time to present to us this evening, and we thank you for your commitment to Interact. We also thank our interactors for their participation in this outstanding presentation. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Anura. And now we would like to ask Interactor Sajeev from Shiva Boys Hindu College to introduce our Interact project picture.
Good evening, fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. I'm pleased to introduce this next activity, which is a video presentation, showcasing some of the service projects undertaken by our Interact clubs during the Rotary year 2021-2022. As a result of COVID-19, our schedules and plans were frequently interrupted, and quite a number of our projects had to be adapted to suit our circumstances. But in spite of this, we were able to get involved in a wide range of activities, both online and face-to-face, of course, when we were allowed to venture outside. You will actually be treated to a series of these video presentations today. Project stories told through pictures. We hope you enjoy this first video.
Thank you, Sajeev. I would like to call on Interactor Michael from Interact St. Benedict's College to introduce our featured speaker.
Good evening, fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. I feel privileged to introduce our esteemed featured speaker, Dr. Todd Jenkins. who currently serves as a Senior Diversity, Inclusion, and Innovation Leader in Corporate America at a Fortune 400 company, also as a Global Inclusion Trainer, Strategist, and Speaker with Bowtie Leadership Incorporated. Dr. Jenkins will be presenting on the topic, Exploring Your Leadership Horizons, a crucial area for us interactors as we seek to strengthen our leadership capacity and understanding that we are the future of Rotary. Dr. Jenkins graduated with honors from the University of South Carolina with 2 degrees, a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Sociology. In addition, he obtained a Master's of Science from Illinois State University and a doctorate from the University of Arkansas. Currently, he's enrolled at Harvard University, completing postdoctorate studies as a Harvard Fellow. Dr. Jenkins is a proud Rotarian and Paul Harris Fellow from the Rotary Club of Fayetteville, Arkansas. He has served on the club's board of directors in several portfolios, including Rotaract Advisor, Interact Sponsor, and Youth Service Chair. Rotarian Dr. Todd is one of the youngest youth exchange district chairs in Rotary International. He serves on Rotary International DEI Task Force, the very first committee to focus to and align Rotary's diversity, equity, inclusion assessments, strategies, goals, and initiatives. He is known as Dr. Bowtie Todd, who has given inspirational talks and education to other audiences of all sizes and backgrounds throughout North America, Asia, South America, and Europe. Dr. Todd Jenkins is a proud husband, author, servant leader, and conversationalist who believes in his philosophy, Bowtie it all together, serve, and simply be a gift unto the world. Let's give Rotarian Dr. Todd Jenkins a District 7030 welcome.
Wow, thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you for that introduction. And hello, everybody. Like, this is exciting. I was really vibing with the music and that video was awesome, but I'm just excited to be with you all to celebrate you, interactors, for making the change in your communities in the midst of all that's happening in the world. So I am honored to be in your presence tonight. And thank you so much once again for the invitation to be here. So I'm going to be talking about, we don't have a lot of time tonight, but I'm going to be talking about exploring your leadership horizons. So let's just get started a little bit more about me, because I think that was a great introduction. And as you probably have heard, I've been in school my entire life. So I went to undergrad and I did college in sociology and psychology. Then I went and got my master's and my PhD, and I finished up my postdoc at Harvard. But outside of being in school my entire life, I do other things. I have fun. I really like to travel, and I cannot wait to come meet you all in person one day and join you all there. But I love to travel and I love to eat good food. So I'm all about the good food eating. Of course, I love bow ties, and probably the only place I don't wear my bow ties are on beaches. So, and I love to explore different coastlines. Outside of that, I do live here in the US. I live here in a state called Arkansas. And it's interesting. I'm not originally from Arkansas, but I live here now. And it's a very beautiful space where I live at. I live in the northwest corner. It's actually, if you ever saw the Netflix show called The Ozarks, I live in the Ozarks. So and the Ozarks are very beautiful, beautiful place to live. I don't live here alone. I am joined by my beautiful wife, my partner, Anna, as well as we have 2 fur babies. We have Nyla and Merlin. And actually, as of 12 months ago, we just added our first human baby to our family. So this is my baby son, Mateo, and he is really the chief operating officer in this home, and he runs the show. So you may be wondering, outside about me, why do they call this guy Dr. Bowtie? And what's up with the whole bow tie thing? Of course, I love bow ties, but let me tell you, my friends, when I travel around the world, people will stop and ask me about my bow tie. They ask me like, where did I get it from? They're curious. And yes, I do tie my bow ties myself, and I own over 350 bow ties. So I have a lot of different types of bow ties in my closet. I even have a bow tie closet. So it's very fascinating. So people will usually come up and ask me about my necktie. Where did I get it from? And I started to see that it sparked a conversation. And I don't know these people, you know, they're complete strangers, but they have the courage to come up and be curious about my necktie. And then I have an opportunity to have a conversation with them. And so one of the things I realized is that what if we lived in a world where people will approach each other like they approach my bow tie? What if we lived in a world where people will be curious and they're really, you know, they're positive and they just want to come get to know you or something about you in a very kind way. And so what I saw and what I continue to see in companies and society around the world is people are really challenged of how to have everyday conversations. So what I did, I created a bow tie acronym, and I consider this as the ground rules for tonight's conversation. I'm going to share with you, okay? Here's the ground rules. So the first letter of bow tie, this stands for any conversation, any engagement. I ask that you be mentally present. So I know that we're all virtually connected and we're in our own different spaces, but I ask that you be mentally present and while we have this conversation tonight. So that's rule number one. Rule number two stands for the letter O, which means openness. It'd be great to come in conversations with an open mind and an open heart. So yes, I'm going to share things from my perspective. I ask that you just be open. The letter W stands for willingness, willing to share your own story and own your own truth. I believe that every single person on this call has a unique story, and it's up to you to share it. So it's going to be opportunities even beyond this conference for you to just share your perspective. So don't forget to share your perspective. Now, I don't know if we have anybody on the call that wear bow ties. Okay, I'm looking around. I see someone adjusting their tie, but usually people tell me the most challenging part of the bow tie is this knot in the middle. People say it's really challenging to make that knot. And my friends, I have seen this is the most challenging part of conferences and conversations. It's not the knot in your stomach because you're nervous, but how do you tie it together? How do you lead the conversation? How do you lead this Interact conference and celebration better than you came in? And that is the bow tie philosophy. That is the bow tie rules. And I'm going to ask you to be here, be open, be willing, but most importantly, let's have fun and have a bow tie conversation. So if you agree to the bow tie rules in the chat box, I would like for you to write or type the word bow tie. If you agree to the bow tie rules tonight, I want you to type the word bow tie in the chat box. Okay, I see. Okay, the bow ties are coming in. The bow ties are coming in. I love it. Okay, keep the bow ties flowing because I love for people to agree to the bow tie rules. So they're all coming in. And yes, it's like, why are we talking about bow ties? Because they're cool, okay? That's why we're talking about it. So what are we gonna talk about tonight really quickly? We're gonna talk about leadership. I'm gonna give you all some perspectives, but most importantly, I want you all to be able to walk out and walk away with some tools to put in your toolkit, because you're all on this call, you're already awesome. You know, you're already doing great things in your communities and your schools and your families. And so I'm just here to give you some more encouragement or some things that to make you think about some things differently. So as we go forward, here's the first question, okay? Because you're all on this call, you all are leaders. When you think about leadership in the chat box, what are some of the words that come to mind when you describe a leader? Yes, I'm a professor by trade, so I'm always looking at interactions from my students. So when you think about a leader, put the first word that comes to mind in the chat box. Okay, I see some are coming in. All right, responsible, competent, motivational, cooperation, wise. You can actually talk. Yeah, like this is leaders, helpful and inspirational, headstrong, right? And this is fascinating because when you look up the definition of leadership and who and what is a leader, this is what come up. A leader is someone who brings people together and guides them through or towards a common goal. Now, what's fascinating about this definition, my friends, is that they do not say this common goal is positive. They don't describe the adjective of the goal. And how many we all know of leaders that's in our schools that are great leaders driving individuals towards a negative goal? And I think that's what's fascinating about leadership, is that you can still lead in a way and still lead some way that's not positive. The great thing I love about all these words that you all have described as traits and skills are positive traits to lead our society into a better place. So I'm glad that we all understand what leadership should look like. So when we talk about the horizon and really trying to get there, you have to first understand that leaders go through various stages, okay? In life, in school, etc. And so one thing I have learned about leadership is that there's kind of like 3 types of leaders. And the best way I can explain this is using, because I love to eat, is to talk about food. So I'm about to quiz you again, all of my individuals who love chemistry or science. In order for water to boil, what is the temperature? Put it in the chat. In order for water to be boiling, what is the temperature that it must be at on the stove? Okay. All right. Okay. We have some great cookers or some individuals who they know what they're talking about. Okay, great. Because if you would have said anything less than 100 degrees Celsius, I probably won't be eating at your home, okay? Because the food may not be ready. But when we think about the boiling water, okay, we're gonna talk about this boiling water. Now, this is something that's interesting. Let's talk about my first food here, which is potatoes. I don't know how many people love potatoes, but I do love some potatoes. Now, let's think about this. Follow this metaphor, if you will, especially my individuals who love to eat or love to cook. If a potato, when it's raw, right, and you holding the potato in your hand, what does it feel like? What does it feel like? Describe the potato in the chat. Before the potato go into the water, what does the potato feel like? Let's see if someone can, what is it? Is it hard? Is it raw? Okay, there we go. Something hard, solid, hard. I'm getting a lot of hards and solids and rough. Now, it's interesting, when the potato go into the water that's boiling and it's cooked and it comes out the right way after it's cooked, what does it feel like? It becomes soft and mushy, okay? So the potato goes into the water and it comes out, it's actually still, sometimes it get a little darker skin and it becomes soft, okay? There we go, soft and sometimes mushy. So let's now go to eggs, huevos. When we talk about eggs, okay, you got an egg in your hand. You put the egg up, it's a little soft, it's yolk, okay? And then when the egg goes into the boiling water and comes out, completely cooked, usually the egg is now what? It's a solid. It's usually there we go, hard and solid. And you'll start to see that. Now, the last thing I would like to address is when I think about coffee beans. Yeah, I don't know if you all, coffee beans. When coffee beans, think about this. When coffee beans go into the water, okay, the coffee beans are solid. Well, when the coffee beans go into the water, what happened with the coffee beans? Somebody tell me in the chat. If you're putting coffee beans in hot boiling water and now it's ready, what happened to the coffee beans? Someone said melt. They dissolve, melt. So well. Dissolve in the water, okay? Yeah, think about this. This is interesting to me because the coffee beans, someone said no clue. Well, let me give you a clue. The coffee beans go into the water and it's fascinating about the coffee beans. The coffee beans actually do more than just melt, if you will, or dissolve. They actually take the shape of the container. But if you think about the potato The potato went in one way, came out another, but the water was still the same color, or it could have been a little shady, darker, depend. And so did the same thing happen with the egg. But the coffee beans, when they go into the water, they do more than just come out smelling with the aroma. They take the shape of the container. And I started to think about different leaders. And I know that a powerful leader can go into spaces that's hot and boiling water and do more than just go in and leave out. A powerful leader can go into a space and change the entire color. The powerful leader can go into a space and consume the entire container. So you think about that boiling water. As interactors, I'm curious of your thoughts on this. When you think about the boiling water in your own life, what are some things that comes to mind that may influence leadership today in your boiling water? Okay, think about in school, think about who's around you. Okay, someone said peers. Yeah, I will. Social media. What's in the boiling water today, my friends? Y'all gotta help me out because I'm not too. Okay, we got social media. What else? What else is in the boiling water? Friends and teachers. Okay, who else? Now it's about 100 people on this call. I want to know what's in the boiling water. Okay, the internet, parents, family. Yes, you all are right on track. And it's many more things, right? We think about all things people, new adventures are in boiling water, right? We just all came through from the pandemic. That was the boiling water. Peer pressure, we still have peer pressure today. It has not gone away. Challenges, as you can all see, friends, and even today at this Interact conference is a part of your boiling water. But here's the message I want to land with, is that, yes, we saw the potato change, come out mushy. We saw the eggs go solid, but the coffee took the shape. The coffee beans took the shape of the container. And the moral of this story, my friends, is that, yes, the coffee beans, it made the color, its shape, etc. But it was really what was in the coffee bean that was able to do that. So when you think about true leadership and how to move mountains, it's actually, you don't have to go finding it. It's not actually in the horizon. Guess what? It's already within you. And that's the beauty of this conversation today, is that the leadership skills that you all have, you don't have to go through so many different experiences because honestly, it's already within you. Let me tell you about this little boy I got to know very well. And he told me his leadership story. Now, this little kid, he was born in the south part of the States. And in the south part of the States, number one, his mother had him at a very young age. His mother had him at the age of 15. And so when he was growing up in, I don't know what they call it in some of your countries, but here in the south part of the States, this is what they call the projects, right? Some people call it the slum, some people call it depends. And when I lived in Brazil, it was favelas. It just depends. But just know this was kind of the low income neighborhood. And it was a lot of things that happened in this boy's life in his neighborhood, right? That sometimes I forget about, but it's like crime, violence, gangs. This is actually his apartment complex that was on fire, that his family had to actually, stay in temporary tents for a while until they were able to restore some of the apartments. But as I get to know this boy's story, this young boy in the South, he also talked about how it was so many challenges of, really trying to get resources. Actually, this is the neighborhood in the South that they looked at and did a study that they will look at third graders' test scores in this neighborhood to determine how many prison beds to build. This is that neighborhood in the South. And it's fascinating to me that in the midst of all of that, this young boy talked about three things that was special to him. He talked about a camp that he used to go to, which he was able to go to by volunteers coming out to his hood to talk about, you know, how to go canoeing, how to go swimming. So he used to go to this camp. He also talked about his teachers. He talked about his school. He loved school. He loved being in different clubs and activities, just like a lot of you all today. It's fascinating here because you can't see it very well on the screen, but if you look at the picture at the bottom, this was the school that was in his hood, if you will. And he had to test into a different district to get a better school. And as you can see, when he went to another district, that school looked totally different. And the only way he was able to go to that school because he had to test to get in that school, as well as he had to ride to school every morning with his grandmother because his grandmother was a janitor worker at the school. So listen to this young boy's story. He beat the odds. As you can see, he went to college. He was the first one to be a college graduate in his entire family, not just his parents, but into his extended family. And so when you think about this, he not only stopped at college, but he also took his first study abroad trip and he went to Brazil. And he lived in Brazil for a great while, and he learned to speak Portuguese. Now, this is the little boy from the hood that they look at third graders test score to see how many prison beds to build. And this little boy is here today sharing with you all. Now, why do I tell you this story? No, I'm not here to showboat me. I'm here to tell you that you have the power to change your situation as leaders today. You are not leaders tomorrow. I'm so sorry. You're not the future leaders, okay? I want you to know that you are leaders today, right now, okay? Because we see tomorrow is not promised. So what I want to give you all really quickly before I wrap is how do you get started to continue to practice this leadership that I'm talking about? How do you continue to expand your horizons because you're already there, okay? And so the first thing I want to tell you, my first advice is don't just sit in the chair, okay? Every day we have an opportunity when we have breath. If you can wake up and breathe, you have the opportunity to influence and have the power of leadership within you. And guess what, my friends? The world owes you nothing, but you owe the world everything because you have a unique gift that you can serve and be unto this world. The next thing I would tell you about your toolkit is a couple lessons I've learned. Get rid of I can'ts, okay? Start replacing that with I can, I am, speak positive affirmation to yourself every morning in the mirror. Of course, being interactors, you know about the 4-way test, okay? So I'm not gonna go through that. But here's the thing that I'm also seeing in the youth, because I'm one of 13 kids. So I have a lot of brothers. You all like my brothers and sisters on this call tonight, my little brothers and sisters, because they're the same age. And the interesting thing that I see, because we have all these social media devices, and we have Snapchat and we have all these things, is that we don't talk to each other in public. So it's a reminder, as leaders, introduce yourself. It's okay to actually use your voice and speak to people in public. You'll be amazed how that can turn a frown into a smile. Follow your passions because you're bigger than what you know today. You're bigger than what you know today. And then the last thing I would say is model the behavior you wish to see. Your family is watching you, your neighbors are watching you, and we're all rooting for you, but they're also learning from you. So don't forget the power you have. And in this journey called leadership, make sure you have fun, okay? Leadership is not meant to be, oh, I'm burnt out, I'm stressed, okay? Leadership is fun, especially when you're following your passion. So as I close, my friends, I'm here to salute you. You're already leaders, and I hope it's something that I've shared to help put in your toolkit to remind you that you're bigger than what you think. And I know that that one spark to Horizon can make a world of a difference. It's just that one spark. And I'm here to remind you that you're incredible, you're awesome, I love you, you're valued, and you're already a leader. And I cannot wait to be invited back so I can hear you keynote a conference and I'm in the audience to listen to your story. So my friends, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully it was something that I shared to just remind you of who you are that's within you and to continue on your journey of expanding your leadership horizon. So at this time, if we have any time to connect, I'm open to have any quick questions if we have that time. But I love you and thank you so much for having me. So I would turn it back over to the moderator to see your recommendations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bowtie Jenkins. That was an extremely engaging presentation and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody else also did. I would like to call on district committee members, Dina and Nada, and interactor Matthew to facilitate our question and answer segment.
Hello, Dr. Bowtie, and so great to meet you. I missed the last point that you said, where you said get rid of the icons. There's the last one, before they have fun. Could you just tell me what?
Model the behavior you wish to see.
Right. So yesterday we had a session on branding, personal branding. So would you say that that will impact the brand of each individual?
Yes, I do believe branding is so important because the first thing I want to remind people is that you are a CEO. Everyone that's listening is a chief executive officer of what? You are a CEO of Me Incorporated. If you are not managing your own brand, guess what? Someone else is writing your story. And so branding is so important of becoming a leader and also modeling that behavior and allowing people to hear your authentic story as well as to motivate and connect to your passions to do good.
Yeah. And so as interactors, they are exposed during the year to participate in so many projects because, as you know, being a Rotaractor and a Rotarian, you know that every month we have something to celebrate. And what I found with I'm a youth service advisor, and what I find is a lot of times the young people back away sometimes because they feel that they have to give priority to their academic work. And I think one of the things that they have to do is to balance what they're doing. And, you know, I particularly like the part where you say, introduce yourself to others' experience. They need to, you know how to balance and to participate and don't give priority over one. I mean, there are times when you'll have to give your academic work priority, but I think, you know, that a lot of times, you know, and a good example was the YPA that was discussed today, tonight, because a lot of them did not finish because they felt that they didn't have the time. So a lot of time management is involved. Nada, you want to ask Dr. Bowtie?
Matthew has two questions.
Matthew? Yeah.
Firstly, I would just like to say that presentation was very thrilling and I actually enjoyed it a lot. The two questions being, what is the number one secret to being the best leader possible?
Yes, so the question is, what is the number one secret for being the best leader possible? Wow, that is a great question. I don't know if this is a secret, but one of the things that I have learned from myself is that you do not have to wait for someone to validate you as a leader. So what I mean by that is that the secret is be yourself, be the best version of yourself, because that is attractive to people to follow. When you do that in a good way, to be good to each other and be good to the world, that is the secret. And I know we talked about time management and balance, but I believe in harmony. I don't believe it's ever going to be a perfect balance when it's doing your leadership journey. So that's why it's important to know your mission, know your passions, and find your sweet spot because you can give your best yes, and especially to your best self. So that's my little secret.
And the other person, a bit of a personal one. I know maybe myself and other people in the chat or the meeting as well too are wondering, what encouraged you to go into Bowtie so much?
Honestly, thank you so much for that question. So I have I work in corporate America. I work in global companies. And what I do as a social psychologist is that I study human behavior in the workplaces and environment. And one of the things that I see is that we have actually, as a society, in certain, especially in the Western society, civilization, and even some other parts of the world, are starting to lose the art of conversation, lose the art of actually being physically together in a room and how to have structural sentences. And so the bow tie, personally, it motivated me because as I said earlier, it was the spark for conversation. People will talk to me that don't know me, they're strangers. And I just, like I say, I just had the realization like, wow, what if people just did that to each other every day? Imagine when you're going to the shopping market or to the gas station or whatever, and someone actually smile and show their teeth while they have them, right? And they say hello, right? Like that will brighten up your day. And I see that the bow tie philosophy and the practice is embodying that whole journey and characteristics. So that's why it's personal and near to me. And that's why I do it every day.
Could you share one example of how you motivate your team?
Yes, in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one example of how I motivate my team is first, I have to know my team. I actually run a company. I do three things. I wear three hats, if you will. I'm a professor. I have my own company that's a global company of 83 people. And then I also work in a corporation that I manage around 70 people. And so most people would say, how do you do all of that? Well, first, you have to be organized. You got to also trust the people on your team. And you also have to ensure that you are getting the right team members who are passionate and skilled to do whatever they are aligned to do. The example of how I motivate my team is that number one, I get to know what motivates them.
Yeah.
So one of the things is I don't try to say, let the things that make me happy may not make everyone on my team happy. So this is what people don't, as leaders, they don't do. They don't like to do this. Some people don't like to do this. They like to do a one size fit all. But what I have learned is that, hey, Matthew, what motivates you? You may say a new bow tie every day. Well, then I go to Narda, she may say, hey, I want a new Coke every day. I don't know. But if I give both of you all bow ties, Narda is not going to be motivated as much as Matthew. So my example is get to know the people on your team and ask them the question, what makes you happy? What motivates you? And keep that in mind as you motivate your team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bowtie. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And we now pass back to the moderator.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you again to all for that segment. It was very engaging. I would like to invite Interactor Daniel from St. Joseph's High School to do the official vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. I consider this an absolute honor, and I am beyond ecstatic to have been given the opportunity this evening to deliver the vote of thanks to Dr. Todd Bowtie Jenkins. On behalf of our district, 7030 Interact community, thank you, Dr. Bowtie Jenkins, for such a dynamic contribution to our conference. This is without a doubt a prestigious moment for us all. And we are extremely grateful that you were able to set aside this time for us to deliver such a passionate and awe-inspiring presentation on exploring our leadership horizons. There were so many powerful life lessons shared here this evening, and you have inspired all of us as young, aspiring leaders. We understand that leadership is a journey, but we also recognize that the time is now for us to give thought to our personal development and transformation of self in order to achieve our goals as interactors. This is for us a timely delivery, and we appreciate you for sharing your expertise and imparting such words of wisdom. We thank you again for your presentation, Dr. Jenkins, and I too love bow ties.
Thank you, Daniel. I now call on Interactor Sajeev once again to showcase Interact projects.
All right, so I'm back again. I hope you enjoyed our first round of project videos, because I know I did, especially the music. You should have seen me. I was dancing in my chair here, all kind of thing. Anyways, good thing my camera was off. I would have embarrassed myself. Anyways, as I said before, it's a series of these video presentations today. So I now invite you to view the second presentation of our club stories through photos.
Hi everyone, it's me, Aria again. Happy to be back here with you. We just saw some great presentations on display. And now I want to introduce Interactor Kaylee from Interact Southwest Tobago to talk about Fireside Chats.
Good afternoon, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, and friends of Rotary. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the next segment, Fireside Chats, with our youth service and faculty or teacher advisors, where we showcase 4 advisors who have been involved with Interact for several years, and we believe are powerful examples of the Interact equation: effective advisors equals successful clubs. Youth and faculty advisors play a major role in supporting Interact clubs and are integral to their overall success. Within District 7030, we are extremely fortunate to have advisors that are passionate about Interact and have a strong desire to work with and develop our young people, creating generations of young service leaders. This evening, we turn the spotlight to our youth and faculty advisors, as it is because of you our Interact community has been sustained over the years, growing stronger every year. I now hand you over to my fellow Interactors who will introduce our 4 pre-recorded presentations showcasing 4 advisors, both Rotary youth advisors and faculty advisors, being interviewed by Interactors.
Thank you, Kaylee. And now we introduce Interactor Emriti from Interact Shiva Boys Hindu College.
Okay, hi everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, nice. So I hope everybody is having an amazing conference. And I must say it is really hard to stay still in my seat and not dance because of this high energy and wonderful music. So thank you, AJ Julian Skeet, for your outstanding delivery, and well done to our Interactors from Southwest Tobago. Our second youth service advisor of this evening is Rotarian Ryan Sudwa. Ryan Sudwa joined the Rotary Club of San Fernando South family 7 years ago and has held many positions in the club, serving the communities and providing support to Rotaractors and Interactors. Rotarian Ryan has over 25 years experience in Trinidad's petrochemical industry and holds diplomas in chemical and mechanical engineering technology from the University of Trinidad and Tobago. He has always had a soft spot for helping others. His involvement in Rotary has allowed him to direct his attribute towards a structured and practical approach to assisting others. Rotarian Ryan is the chair of the New Generations team and is responsible for 5 Interact clubs in Trinidad. This evening, he shares with us his experiences as the club's youth service advisor. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the pre-recorded video presentation.
Hi, this is Rotarian Ryan from the Rotary Club of San Fernando South Trinidad, welcoming you to our little fireside segment. Sit back, enjoy, and relax.
Tell us a little about yourself as a Rotarian Youth Service Advisor. How long have you been an advisor and how do you feel about the Interact Club?
I have been a Rotarian for the past 7 years, having joined the Rotary Club of San Fernando South in September 2015. As a youth service advisor, I have been involved with Interact for the past 6 years. Interact for me has been a very, very good program, especially for the youths that we have. They allow leadership skills, they build confidence, they build cooperation, they build camaraderie among students as well as the other different schools. With the advent of COVID over the last 2 years, we have gone electronic where everybody has used some platform, one for another to do meetings. And these meetings have allowed our Interact clubs to not only interact with other clubs throughout the country, but throughout the world.
As a youth service advisor, what do you see as your main responsibilities?
As a youth service advisor for the Interact clubs that we look after, my main job is to guide our Interactors, to show them the path forward in their projects, that what they're supposed to do. We are not tasked with telling them what to do. Let them come up with the ideas that they have. And then we assist them. We take it from there, we show them how to carry out their projects, and we guide them accordingly.
What do you think makes a good youth service advisor? How do you manage to keep us motivated and excited?
I think a good youth service advisor should be there to support the interactors that fall under his or her purview. In my experience as a youth service advisor, I have been able to work with our interactors any day, anytime. In fact, I always tell them I am available 24/7. So far, this has worked very, very well for us. What it does, it encourages them to reach out to me at any point in time. And at any point in time they reach out to me, I respond accordingly. What I give, as I said before, I give advice.
We know that the youth service advisors change on an annual basis. What do you think should be your legacy at the end of your tenure?
At the end of my tenure, it should not be my legacy. It should be the legacy of Rotary. It should be the legacy of the club. It should be the legacy of Interact. Students should be able to gain so much confidence and so much pride in themselves so that they develop their leadership skills to move forward. I am always available to assist whenever necessary, and I have always told my interactors that. And even if I am not a youth service advisor, they still have a contact for me that they can reach out to.
We are part of the Rotary family now. However, there are interactors over 18 leaving the Interact clubs. How can they continue to be part of Rotary and participate?
For the interactors leaving school at 18, I always advise them to continue along with Rotary, to be part of Rotary. And the best way to be part of Rotary is progressing to the other stage, which is Rotaract. Even if they are not able to go on to Rotaract, still be part of our club, still be part of us. Still assist the schools that you have been from. Still be part of their activities. Be an advisor to them. Help them, nurture them. Be part in all their projects that they still carry.
Sorraya, do you have any other words of advice for any YSCs listening in?
For other youth service advisors listening in, my advice to you is this. Be there for your interactors. Support them. Engage them. Get involved. Be there for them when they are doing their projects. Be part of the planning stages. Be part of the execution stages. Show them what exactly it takes to be a Rotarian. Because what we are trying to do is get them eventually to be Rotarians just like us. Show them all the ropes. Show them everything that we do in our meetings, how we carry about ourselves as Rotarians. I have passed on this knowledge to our interactors, and they have successfully adopted all these measures so that their meetings follow closely along with our meetings as Rotarians. Thank you for being part of this segment. I hope you enjoyed it. And on behalf of the Rotary Club of San Fernando South and the Interact clubs that fall on our purview, Naparima College Interact Club 1 and 2, Astra Boys Interact Club, San Fernando Central Secondary Interact Club, and the Interact Club of Parvati Girls Hindu College, we thank you very much.
Thank you, Youth Service Advisor Ryan. And now, I'd like to introduce Interactor Samara from Interact Naparima Girls High School.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to introduce Assistant Governor Julian Skeets, serving the Tobago area for 2021-2023. AG Julian is the past president 2018 to 2020 of the Rotary Club of Southwest Tobago and has served as a youth service advisor to Interact since 2016. AG Julian's Rotary's journey began with youth service as early as 2003, where he served in several positions in his Rotaract Club and the district, including Rotaract Tobago President 2004-2006, Rotaract District Conference Chairperson for Trinidad and Tobago, and District Rotaract Representative 2008-2010. This gifted and articulate young professional holds undergraduate and postgraduate qualifications from the University of the West Indies, and the UK-based Heriot-Watt University, respectively. He is the host of the Tobago Updates morning show. A.G. Julian is an elected board director, currently serving in the financial sector as president of Tobago Regional Chapter of Credit Unions and vice president of Mount Pleasant Credit Union, to name a few. In addition, he is the youth program coordinator in the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, and Tobago House of Assembly. A.G. Julian is the annual sponsor of an award honoring his mother's legacy, the Cheryl Ann O'Connor Excellence in Service of Volunteerism Award from 2013 to present at the Scarborough Secondary School graduation. A.G. Julian is a proud father of one. His focus continues to be his faith in God, respect for all, willingness to help others, passion for youth and community development, and contributing to a better world for all of us. So let us welcome A.G. Julian Skeets.
Hello everyone, I am Kayla Doyle, the president of the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago for the year 2022 to 2023.
Hi everyone, I am Danny Henry, the Public Image Director of the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago for the year 2022 to 2023.
Today we have the honor of interviewing someone who has a special affinity for youth and youth development. It is my pleasure today to interview Mr. Julian Skeet, the Youth Service Advisor for the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So A.G. Julian, tell us a bit about your role as a Youth Service Advisor and how long have you been in this position for?
So I've been involved in the Rotary International family from as early as 2003. Starting off within Rotaract, the Rotaract Club of Tobago, having served as a past president, going on several positions and also serving as a district Rotaract representative for our Rotaract district. Then I moved on to the Rotary Club of Southwest Tobago, and within the Rotary Club of Southwest Tobago, one of the very first positions that I took up would have been Youth Service Advisor in 2016, and I dare say, having had the opportunity to serve as a past president and even now serving as assistant governor, there's no turning back with the excitement and joy that serving as Youth Service Advisor brings to me on a daily basis, interacting with you all.
Nice. Okay, so my question to you is, what, or rather where do you see your main responsibility lies as a Youth Service Advisor?
As Youth Service Advisor, the main responsibility for me is really making that connection between Interact and the rest of the Rotary family, and more so making that connection in the sense of motivating, encouraging, and providing guidance to our interactors. And I specifically and intentionally did not use or make mention of instructing or directing. I do not support that. I believe if we're going to help young persons with their growth and development, it's about motivating, encouraging, and seeking to guide them.
What makes a good youth service advisor, and how do you manage to keep the interactors engaged and motivated?
I think one of the critical things that makes a good youth service advisor, at least I can share what works for me. I have taken on the approach where in providing that same kind of guidance and motivation, even if my experience sometimes allows me to preempt, let's say, a decision that our interactors may be making. They may be planning a project and deciding they want to do this particular initiative and to make this arrangement. And I know to myself, there may be some difficulty in facilitating it. So long as the decision is not a detrimental one and time permits, I allow them to make the decision, because of the fact that within short order, I know that I get a call perhaps from the president or a member of the board saying, I'm having a challenge with this. Do you feel we can revisit this decision? And I would discuss with them and say, well, yes, you can call your board, call together your board to discuss it. Because I've seen where scenarios would have been used in the past in terms of those who are advisors providing instructions. And I have found that it is much more effective when you support the growth and development, so that the members as interactors, you see the challenge for yourself and then you also contribute to coming up with the solution. So that strategy has worked very well for me. I'm working along, and it also allows me the same level of respect interactors show me. It also allows me to respect interactors in the same way.
I must say I like that question because I know that everywhere Mr. Skeet is always fun. So I don't know if my colleague would agree with me, but you know, we always have that, you know, fun with you. So it's good to hear that answer. So my question for you is, what words of advice, if you do have any, would you give to any upcoming youth service advisors?
To youth service advisors, I would indicate this is one of the responsibilities within Rotary, that you not only have to be passionate about the documented description, but you also have to be passionate about the unknown. And by that I mean Rotary gives a good guide in terms of the responsibilities of the youth service advisor. But when you take up the responsibility, you begin to recognize every group of new interactors year by year has their own personality, their own styles, their own ideas, and their own approach to doing things. So I would say to any youth service advisor, it's important to be passionate about the documented responsibilities, but it's also important to be passionate about the creative side and the newness of our young persons coming forward with different ideas. Because you have interactors I worked with in 2016, had one approach to interact, and then I'm working with you all now in 2022, and you all have a different approach to interact, but ultimately all serving the same goal, to provide service and to give service to those in need while having fun.
Lovely. So we are part of the lovely Interact Club here. So what advice do you have for interactors who are 18, and you know when you are 18 you have to leave Interact? What advice do you have for interactors who have to leave at the age of 18?
I strive always to encourage interactors to focus on further growth and development. And further growth and development in terms of whether areas of studies that they may be going off to study, for those who may remain, in terms of looking at gaining a skill, or even venturing into the workplace probably for a year or two before they head off to study. So that's one of the areas I encourage, and in the context of the Rotary family, I really encourage continued participation in the Rotary International family, whether it be continuing on to a Rotaract Club or any of the Rotary related programs that can benefit you. And I always encourage that it's important as past interactors to give back and to help to support. And that's one of the things we have seen over the years, where particularly our presidents have the benefit of past presidents over the years still being involved, even if a phone call away, to provide that level of support to interact, even if they've moved on to Rotaract and moved on in some instances to the world of work, but continuing to participate in the Rotary program. And quite recently, we would have had one of our achievements being, since I'm serving as youth service advisor, the very first interactor within my time that has gone on to become a Rotarian, and that is past President Andries of the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago, and now she's Rotarian Andries. So that's certainly an achievement in terms of encouraging the continued growth and development within the Rotary.
Our last question today for you is, what legacy would you like to leave? Well, other than the one that you have obviously left, what legacy would you like to leave as a youth service advisor in your year?
For me, I don't know that, but let me answer it this way. The legacy for me will be persons taking up the responsibility. I like to say to interactors all the time that the good that I am doing for you now, I want to see you doing that for others in time to come. And you know, I always make the joke specific to my daughter that you know, all the good I'm doing for you now is so that by the time she's your age, you would be the ones providing that kind of support for her and for other young people. So the legacy for me is really the importance of making your contribution to help with the support and the growth and development of our young persons. And I think that that's particularly important to me because of the fact that I had that benefit. When I joined Rotaract, our youth service advisor at the time was past President Maxwell Adeyemi. Very supportive and very instrumental in terms of our youth service program here in the Tobago space. And he would have even been instrumental with the starting up of the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago as well as the Rotaract Club of Tobago. So very firm foundation, and therefore I always thought to myself that in taking up as youth service advisor, I wanted to build on what I saw and what I was able to benefit from, and hence the reason I approach my responsibility with all-round kind of support. Even if it means we out and we buying meals or we having snacks, we doing that. Even if it means we're doing a project or a program and we didn't make arrangements for transport, right, we got to make some more trips just to make sure that everybody is covered. So for me, in terms of legacy, I really want persons to see and appreciate what I bring to the organization, but more than just seeing and appreciating it, think of how you can do the same in terms of providing that support for persons younger than you as you go along in life. And of course, my hope in every circumstance is that as interactors, that you'd be able to achieve your full potential, not just in Rotary, but in the world at large, continuing to be a very active member of Rotary.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, everyone, that brings us to the end of our interview today. We hope you enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed the answers that I heard. So stay tuned. You know, this was President Kayla and
Public Image Director Denise Henry
interviewing Mr. Julian Skeet.
Signing out.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Youth Service Advisor Julian. And now I would like to introduce the next fireside speaker, Faculty Advisor Jessima Cooper. Jessima Cooper holds the position of Class Mistress, Dean of Discipline of Form 2, and Head of Modern Language Department at the St. Joseph's Convent Secondary School in St. Lucia, and is the leader Ms. Cooper holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in linguistics with a minor in French from the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, Trinidad. She also holds a postgraduate certificate in education, specializing in the teaching of French and mathematics, a Master of Arts degree in teaching of French as a foreign language, FLE, from the University of the French West Indies in Martinique, and is a certified DELF examiner. Mrs. Cooper is a teacher with the highest standards, and teaching is her passion. She not only sets high standards, but she teaches her young students how to measure up to them. She has been the driving force behind the Interact Club of St. Joseph's Convent from its inception in 2012. From an initial group of 25 students, the group has expanded over the years and can now boast of a rolling membership of over 100 interactors. Please welcome our first advisor for the evening, Jessima Cooper.
Good evening, Ms. Cooper, and how are you?
Good evening, Candy. I'm great, thanks.
Lovely. Okay, so we're going to start off our interview now. Our first question is, how did you become involved in Interact? And about how long have you been a faculty advisor?
I became involved in Interact Club as a teacher here at St. Joseph's Convent. And we started in 2012 when the club first started. And we started off as a club who didn't really know what Interact was about in the first place. And we started with me as the facilitator, as a teacher facilitator, not knowing what the club was about and didn't want to do have this responsibility, because you know, as a teacher, you have so much responsibility already. Aside from just your teaching, you have class mistress, you have to be head of department, etc. And so we had tried what was called Club Fridays here at the school, and where the teachers were the facilitators of the club. And we realized that it didn't really work as we wanted it to work, because teachers were in charge of clubs, and we did have some facilitators in the various clubs. For example, you had horticulture, you had culinary arts, there was dance, there was theater, and teachers sometimes end up being in a club that were not really well versed in that area. And if the facilitator didn't show up, then they would have to take on the meetings, and it created some kind of some problems, because you as a teacher, if I was in culinary arts, I'm there as a facilitator, but as being the one who actually run the club and have do the activity with the students, we'd have somebody in that versed in that area to come, and there was a problem when the facilitator at the time couldn't make it, so the teachers had to step in. So we revamped and had to go back to the drawing board with the Club Fridays, and essentially what happened was we got actual facilitators for each club. But me, having gone through that experience, didn't really want to be part of any club, because as I said, it was added responsibility. And the vice principal encouraged me. She said, "Don't worry, there will be a facilitator for that club." I said, "Okay," reluctant. But having done our first meeting, and our sponsor club was the Rotary Club of St. Lucia. When he had that first meeting, there were about 25 club members, and they were not really, they too didn't know what the Interact Club was about. And actually they were the misfits, because they did not want to be part of any of the 20 clubs that were being offered here at the school. And through the Rotary, the facilitator, he really engaged the students, and it started off the ground. That is how we started principally.
Okay, so it's about 10 years that you've been involved in Interact as a faculty advisor.
Oh yes.
Okay, so having such experience, what do you consider your main responsibilities being an Interact advisor and facilitator?
Faculty advisor, your responsibilities are really, you are the general overseer of the club, in essence. You are the liaison between administration, for example, here at the school, any activity that the club wants to engage in, they have organized. Before they could actually execute or carry out this activity, we have to go through administration. So I am the liaison really between the principal and the vice principal to seeking permission. Also, any correspondence regarding permission for anything else. If we have to use any other public facility, for example, the faculty advisor is the one to get the correspondence going and seeking permission. You're also there to ensure that any activity that is planned is according to the rules and regulations of the school. Also, you are there to see that the activity runs smoothly. So any issues that may arise with the activity, you are there to help to resolve. As a faculty advisor, I am the liaison, so to speak, between our sponsor club, which is the Rotary Club of St. Lucia, and the Interact Club. So any information that is requested from the club and any information questions that we may have, I am the one to work along with the Rotary Club of St. Lucia to get that information and to pass it on to the club members. Okay?
Being a passionate faculty advisor like yourself, do you believe that having a passionate faculty advisor and youth service advisor makes for a successful Interact?
Definitely can be. As long as you are passionate about whatever you're doing, it will be successful. And if you lack the passion, then you will find it very I say difficult, and sometimes it does not, as you are uninterested. So it is not up to the faculty advisor, but the youth services advisor plays a critical role in ensuring that the club is successful as well. We have encouraged the members, especially the Rotary Club of St. Lucia, to have someone who will liaise with us, and especially dealing with the young people. You need someone who's just as passionate to keep the interests of the young people. And our youth service advisor, in the past, they have really helped facilitate some of the activities that we are having, and we are really grateful for their assistance. So that person needs to be a facilitator as well. So any issues that you may have, especially carrying out the activities, we can go to our youth services director and say, hey, can we get help in that? We need some assistance here. And as long as they are passionate, the assistance will come through and everything will be successful and will work out in the end. So the Interact Club is really about being passionate about what you do.
Noted. Well, you spoke earlier of different clubs being initiated here at HJC. However, you can speak to, especially knowing that annually HJC Interact enrolls at least 100 interactors. So can you speak to what would bring that excitement and buzz around Interact?
Indeed, thank you. We have been successful because we have really created an avenue for the young people, the young ladies at this institution to explore their creative skills, their problem-solving skills, taking initiative, and of course, taking on activities that they really enjoy and they have fun. So they do the service, yes, because all of our activities is always about, all of our activities are based on service, serving humanity. Whether we do a soup kitchen, whether we do a bake sale to raise funds, to have a toy drive, whether we do an activity where we engage underprivileged kids in helping them in helping them in whatever way we can, right? The young ladies always have fun doing it. So it speaks to breaking the monotony of being in school and working, doing schoolwork, studying, etc. from the classroom, right? And then engaging in an activity that is equally educational, but it is fun. And because of the success of the activities that we've had here at St. Joseph's Convent, this has encouraged a lot of students to want to be part of this club and have fun, but they also want to serve, they also want to be leaders, they also want to engage in activities that is fulfilling to them. So here is to our success here at SGC.
Speaking of your success, I'm sure that you would want to extend that success to other schools as well. So what advice or encouragement will you give to other schools to get involved in Interact?
Incidentally, I have worked with the other Interact clubs on the island, and I remember having engaged in activities with the clubs at the Cassius Comprehensive School, and as well as Sir Arthur and St. Mary's College. And this collaborative effort really saw a success in the activities that we carried out, and it really saw a success in encouraging new members to come into the club. Okay? So as for what it is that a faculty advisor must do, the first and foremost thing is to always show up and be present at the activities. The students always like it when they see the advisor being part and parcel of the activity, supporting them. You're there at every meeting, you're there at every activity. And you're not just there supervising, but you are actually engaging in whatever activity that they have planned. You are there with them. We are all doing this together. So whether you're planting trees, I'm planting trees as well. If you have a soup kitchen, I am in the kitchen as well. And whatever little issue that arises, I am always there to resolve it, to help them resolve it, to find a way to get whatever they need. And most times I do most times I am successful in resolving the issue. So we have to realize that if you are in the club, your word is gold and you must be committed. And as I've always told young people, even if there are times when it is difficult that you can't make the activities, but nonetheless, it is important to always get up, you dress up, and you show up. And that really is the greatest encouragement that you can give the members of the club.
Well, I would like to say thank you, Ms. Cooper. It was a pleasure interviewing you and continue to be that passionate service advisor.
Thank you, Candy. It was indeed a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you, Faculty Advisor Jessima. And now I introduce Interactor Brianna from Interact Shiva Boys Hindu College.
Good evening, everybody. As Vice President of the Shiva Boys Hindu College Interact Club in Pinal, Trinidad, I am incredibly pleased to introduce Miss Sorraya, an English and Spanish teacher at the Napri McGill's High School. A graduate of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus, Miss Marissa has been with the school for 20 years. She teaches English literature, English language, literature in English, and communication studies. Her goal has always been to inspire her students to be their best selves. Miss Marissa considers herself a teacher because she has been taught by the very best. She has learned from her parents, teachers, friends, and students themselves, and as such believes that she must impart this to all her girls. At Napri McGill's, she is the head of the administrative prefects, the editor of the school's website and social media committee, and serves on several different committees. Miss Marissa has been a patron teacher and faculty advisor of the Interact Club of Napri McGill's High School since its inception in 2009. The club has 85 young ladies, all devoted to service above self and fulfilling their school motto, Non nobis salum sed omnibus, which translates, not for ourselves alone, but for others. I invite you to sit back and relax and enjoy the video presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa Ramsing and I'm the president of the Napri McGill's High School Interact Club for the year 2021-2022.
Hi everyone, I'm Samara Bihari and I'm the Public Relations Officer of the Napri McGill's High School Interact Club for the year 2021 to 2022.
And today we have the privilege and the honor to interview Ms. Sorraya, who is the Youth Service Advisor of the Napri McGill's High School Interact Club. So Ms. Sorraya, what inspired you to become the Youth Service Advisor of the NGHS Interact Club?
My dad is a long-standing member of the Rotary Club of Point of Pay. So when the members of the Rotary Club in 2009, members of the Rotary Club of San Fernando, visited our school and indicated their interest to the then principal, Mrs. Patricia Rambulam, about starting an Interact Club here. So I believe it was an easy transition when she asked me to become the patron teacher of the club. I had already been involved, so to speak, with Rotary and Rotary activities, you know, because my dad was, or is I should say, a Rotarian. So it was a rather easy transition to get involved. So since 2009, I have been the patron teacher of the club.
So Miss, from your perspective, how has the club grown over the years in terms of membership and activities undertaken?
In 2009, when we started the club, we had about maybe 20 interested children. And they were interested because of the fact that perhaps maybe one of their parents were involved in the Rotary Club, etc. So it extended from that perspective. And currently, which is in 2022, we have 85 active members. So the club has grown a great deal. We have had over the years sometimes maybe like 120 students, 130 students. But what we have found, or what I should say I have found, is that usually students would have joined the club in Form 6 simply because of the fact that they wanted a pin, an interact pin, or they wanted something to look good on their application for university. So we started being a little more specific about the roles and responsibilities of being an interactor. And that kind of, I think, I don't want to say discourage students from taking part, but what it did rather is that it really encouraged those who wanted to become part of it to be a little more responsible and self-serving and so on. So we made certain concessions. I had spoken to the Rotarian past president, Jacqueline Ramdhanny, and I told her that we had so many girls willing to take part in the club and we weren't too certain what their intention was. So in order to become an interactor, we had sort of like a trial period. So for about maybe 2 months, even though you were involved in the club, you had to show that you were actively engaged in participating in the events. You know, it wasn't just about giving money or bringing in something, but you had to be an active participant. And I think that may have discouraged certain people from taking part in the, you know, from joining the club. But what it really did is that it also ensured that those who did join the club were there for the right reasons, you know. So currently we have about 85 active members, and after these 2 years, I can only see, based on how much the club has really established and how many things the girls have done, I can only see that the membership could extend to.
What role does the Interact clubs play in the development of youths today?
Oh, I think Interact is so important in developing the personal and social development of young people. You know, being an interactor gives you, first of all, it's fulfilling. So it's a sense of self-fulfillment, knowing that you are giving a service or helping others and those in need. You know, it's about standing outside of your own selfish needs and wants for a minute and doing something for the community, for others who really need it. In addition to that, you know, personal development, of course, I think you, Samara, being the PRO, would have learned over your time in the club that not only does it help you in terms of responsibility and managing your time and so on, but it also aids in, of course, multitasking.
Definitely.
It helps, of course, with, you know, teamwork and so on. It's a lot of teamwork that's involved, and I think, you know, it's a lot of benefits, personal benefits, but social also, because of the fact that you all get to interact with students outside of the NGHS Interact Club. So whether or not it's a joint activity with another Interact Club, or even if it's liaising with members of the community to undertake a certain project, which we would have done.
How did you adapt as youth service advisor in order to overcome the challenges faced by the current COVID-19 pandemic?
You know, initially when we were pre-pandemic, our meetings would take place on a Thursday lunchtime in the auditorium of our school. So it was very easy to remind students of a meeting. All we had to do was go on the PA system and announce, don't forget Interact takes place at 12 o'clock. With the pandemic, I really have to say it's my executive board that really navigated us through that pandemic and helped us overcome, you know, the difficulties we would have faced. It was not as easy to be able to go and grab students in school, physically call them or have a meeting. But during this time, it was, yes, of course, very different for everyone. We all had challenges, but you being Renissa, president of the club, I know you were able to work very diligently with the executive members, and you all were able to make certain that, of course, meetings were held. We had to change meeting times. It was now, of course, via Google Classroom. But in addition to that, you all made sure that the students were kept aware of everything that was going on through, of course, the Instagram, the Facebook page, etc., the WhatsApp groups, you know. I think also what this time may have done is that I believe the pandemic would have really, more than anything, I think it would have really educated the members of the club about the club itself and the purpose of the club and really about the projects that we were undertaking and so on. I felt that maybe this is probably the most contact I've had with any Interact club over the years. We were in constant communication with each other to make certain that, you know, the projects were achieved and so on. It was difficult, yes, in terms of sometimes managing time and making certain, because we wanted to ensure that we were able to accomplish all of our goals. And I think that's one thing that you all as the executives and me had in common. We wanted to make sure that we were able to accomplish all of these things. So I think we were able to find our way around the various challenges that we would have, you know, met not being physically together.
Yeah. Undeniably, you have had an indelible impact on the NGHS Interacts Club. But how has the NGHS Interacts Club impacted you?
You know, I always say that I only look good because of what the members of the club do. It's really not me. I am just there to guide and to assist where necessary. But really and truly, it is the girls involved in the club who have always done all the hard work, etc. And over the past 2 years, especially so with the executive board that has really encouraged the girls and pushed them to achieve what we know that they were able to. I think maybe if the Interact Club has taught me anything, it's probably to be a little more human in my approach to certain things. I can be very pragmatic when it comes to certain things, you know, very rational, maybe level-headed, but being the patron teacher and working very closely with you girls has really made me, it has opened my eyes to allow me to see things maybe in a different light, from a different perspective. In addition to that, I think I have gained very close relationships with you all. You know, it's not just, hasn't been simply about Interact and what Interact is about and achieving. Yes, of course, that's part of it. But I think in addition to that, we have also gained a very strong relationship where I am able to see you all as young ladies and not just as members of the Interact Club, as students. So I think over the past maybe 13 years now, the Interact Club, the success of the Interact Club really is not simply because maybe of what I have done. I have simply been there to support and assist, but really and truly, it really comes from the hard work and the commitment of all members and all girls who are involved in the Interact.
So Miss, thank you very much for spending time with us this morning and sharing your experience as the Youth Service Advisor of the NGHS Interact Club.
You're most welcome, girls. It was my pleasure being here with you all this morning.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Faculty Advisor Marissa, for that fireside chat. My name is Tia from Interact Cashews Comprehensive Secondary School, and it's my pleasure to be a part of this District Interact Conference. And I would now like to introduce Sakshi from Interact Naparima Girls for the vote of thanks.
Fellow Interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. It is such an honor to be a part of this conference and to be given the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks to our distinguished youth service advisors, Ryan Sidwa and Julian Skeet, and our faculty advisors, Marissa Palayo and Josiah Cooper. This has been an amazing demonstration of commitment, dedication, devotion, and I would like to add love. A love for Interact and by extension, us as Interactors. 4 very different presentations with 4 very effective youth advisors with a common objective, displaying all the qualities and attributes vital for dynamic and successful clubs.
Thank you so very much for your passion, your desire to nurture us and to help us to grow into strong service-oriented citizens and leaders. Thank you for taking the time to create these pre-recorded presentations, yet another example of your dedication. Thank you as well to the interactors who performed the interviews. We see you and we thank you for a job well done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Interactor Sakshi. And now we introduce Interactor Ariana from Interact Shiva Boys College to introduce our next segment.
Fellow interactors, I'm truly excited to introduce this next activity, which promises a whole lot of fun. You have just seen 2 fireside chats with 2 of our faculty advisors, which highlighted their amazing qualities and showed us what makes for a fantastic and effective faculty advisor. This next activity, utilizing a Mentimeter, is intended to draw from you, my fellow interactors, how you feel about your own faculty advisor and what makes them the best. The instructions for use have been displayed in the chat and on the bottom of the screen. You have 3 minutes to respond to the question, what makes your faculty advisor effective? The time starts now. I cannot wait to see what the word cloud displays.
Thank you, Interactor Ariana. And now I would like to introduce conference committee members Nada and Diana. For this segment, you will find a link in the chat. Please follow that link and share your contributions on what makes your faculty advisor effective.
Yeah, what did I do? Good. So we're having some really good answers here tonight. Some of you have stated that the dedication set out by your teachers or your advisors, you had fun. You had fun with your teachers. They were friendly, motivating, kind, productive, engaging, loving to work with service, happy, ambitious, knowing a lot about Rotary, understanding, confidential, flexible, creativity, caring, very supportive, extrovert, thoughtful, adventurous, approachable, outgoing, courageous. And most of you are saying that they're hardworking, they're dedicated, they motivate you. They're understanding. I'm not seeing any new ones. So this is great. This augurs well for the Interact clubs. Good recommendations from the interactors.
Yes.
Thank you, Rotarian Dina. And now I would like to introduce Interactor Ahmad from Interact ASJA Boys College.
Fellow interactors, thank you very much for participating in this Mentimeter activity, the results of which are very clear. We all fully understand the qualities and attributes that are required to be an effective advisor. I believe that this exercise was extremely easy for us because we are already exposed to the advisors that demonstrate all of these positive qualities and are working alongside all of us to ensure that District 730 Interact remains a strong and impactful force. Thanks again to all of you for your participation.
Thank you, Interactor Ahmad. And now I would like to introduce Interactor Kayla from Interact Southwest Tobago.
Hello, fellow interactors, Rotaractors, and Rotarians. I am pleased to introduce our phenomenal past district governor, Lisle. He joined the Rotary Club of St. Lucia on December 1st, 1983, and served in many capacities on the board and as president of the Rotary Club of St. Lucia during 1998 to 1989. In 1992, PDG Lisle sought and received approval from his club to form a Rotary Club that included women. With the help of a small group of Rotarians, the Rotary Club of Lisle was chartered on March 5, 1993, with 28 members, including 10 women, a first for St. Lucia. PDG Lisle became the charter president of the Rotary Club of Lisle, serving for 16 months from the date of charter. Since then, PDG Lisle has served the club on the board in every capacity, most notably as treasurer, a position he held for several years. PDG Lisle served the district as assistant governor 4 times and led Rotary's relief response to Hurricane Thomas in 2010. In 2017, PDG Lisle facilitated the first satellite club in District 730 on behalf of his club, the Rotary Club of Lisle. And in that same year, he was nominated for the role of district governor and became the official nominee at the district conference in Suriname in April 2018. Lisle served as district governor for District 730 during the Rotary year 2018 to 2019. PDG Lisle is a strong advocate for peace and actively supports the district's focus on peace building and the concept of building positive peace. In addition, PDG Lisle firmly believes that kindness is transformational. PDG Lisle and partner in service Maggie are multiple Paul Harris Fellows. PDG Lisle is a member of the Paul Harris Society, a major donor, and a benefactor of the Rotary Foundation. Please join me in welcoming our past district governor, Lisle to the virtual podium to close the curtains on day 1 of our very first Interact conference. Over to you, PDG Lisle.
Thank you so much, Kayla. That was a very long intro, and I know it's getting late. I promise I'm not going to keep you very long. But wow, what an amazing evening we've had. We started tonight with the playing of the Rotary anthem by none other than an interactor. And truly, I got goosebumps when I heard that. It was outstanding. And then, of course, we had our wonderful flags, the flags of District 7030. That has to engender a great sense of pride in every single interactor in this district. It certainly does to me. Then we had Sorraya, our District International District Interact Chair, and she laid out what the conference was all about. And I congratulate her and the team because this has been an outstanding, outstanding initiative. Imagine that word again, imagine our interactors have their very own conference for the very first time. Our district governor, Lisle, came on and he said, guys, I want you to add some words because you call this, or your theme is serving to change lives, starting with me. But he says, I want you to imagine how we can change lives, starting with me. So look forward, how we're going to continue and how we're going to up our game. So, my friends, I don't want to keep you long, but I have to comment on DGN Debbie's segment because Debbie with Renessa and Ashish, they did an amazing job telling us about the peace projects that District 7030 has had and how amazing you, the interactors, were in rolling out those peace projects. They highlighted positive and negative peace, and also Ashish made reference to building peace within himself. And I thought that was particularly outstanding. I'm going to move right on because it's a lot. Oh, by the way, I hope you guys really love District Governor Lisle's green jacket. It's an amazing green jacket. And by the way, he tells me it's not biodegradable, but it is edible. So if you guys get hungry, remember, District Governor Lisle has an amazing jacket for you to sample. We had a display of our projects for Interact in the district, and they covered education, environment, health, childhood obesity reduction, which is one of our district initiatives, literacy, kindness, hunger reduction, all sorts of wonderful projects you've had throughout this district. Our feature speaker, Dr. Todd Jenkins, Bowtie Jenkins, what an amazing speaker. He just blew us away. He's the head of the DEI committee, or he serves on the DEI committee, and he enjoys travel and food, but he has told us that his son, Mateo, is the CEO of his family. So remember that. Bowtie brought to our attention that he is selling his brand, which is a bow tie. Guess what, guys? You have a brand. It is your Interact pin. So when you go out there and you have on your Interact pin, people will be interested. What is that? What do you do? Remember, have your what we call elevator speech ready. So when somebody says, hey, what's that pin? What does it mean? What is Interact? You can tell them what Interact is and sell the brand. You are a brand ambassador. Phenomenal. So what did Bowtie tell us? He told us that he imparted some tools for us, and he likened the egg and the coffee and the potato, but he really highlighted that the coffee. So a true leader is one who merges into one's environment. Remember that, and becomes a part of it. He doesn't stand apart. He becomes part of it. So as a leader, remember that you need to get in there and become a part of your environment. Don't sit on a chair. Get involved. Get involved. And don't forget, the world owes you nothing, but you need to eliminate the phrase I can't and replace it with I can. Yes, we can. Remember, President Obama, yes, we can. He told you to remember the four-way test, truth. Follow your passion as a leader, because you're leaders today, not tomorrow. And remember always to have fun. PP Dina and Nada and Matthew led a great question and answer session. And they asked, what is the secret of a good leader? And Bowtie simply said, be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. So remember, wear your pin with pride. Remember your bow tie is your pin. Remember to do that. Know what your team needs. Don't impose upon them your own thinking. And then we had these awesome fireside chats with Ryan, Julian, Jessima, and Marissa. And what did they do? They showed us their passion, their commitment, and their service to you. So my fellow interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians, all of us, I wish you have a wonderful night. And I hope that we'll see all of you tomorrow for the session starting at 6 o'clock. Thank you so much. Good night. Go get some dinner. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you to everyone who attended and participated in day one of our conference. Tomorrow is our last day and we will be giving out a number of Interact Awards. So I expect to see us out in our numbers. Message a friend, call a family member, bring as many people as you can to the final day of our first ever Interact conference. See you tomorrow.